going to discuss about the three important services in cloud computing and distributed services. They are IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. The first one is infrastructure as a service. In this service, we will run the cloud vendors infrastructure like servers, storage, and networking, and will use them to complete our work. For example, assume a scenario where you have Windows laptop and you need to work on a Linux system. There are two ways to do it. One is you buy a new computer and work on it and install Linux in it, or you have to install VMware and again install Linux in it and use it. These two are complicated ways and time-taking ways. Instead, you can use cloud vendor like Azure to complete your work. For example, this is the portal where you create a virtual machine and in Azure. You can name it, set your zones, set your OS like Linux, Windows, etc. And you can also configure the protocols which are allowed to it. And you can also configure how much size the disk is, how much networking it should have, etc. In this way, our work becomes easier. Next, we can go to the platform as a service. In this platform as a service, instead of renting the infrastructure, we will just rent the middleware or a platform to build our application. For example, you have a scenario where you have to build an app, for example, in Java app, and you have to set up your local environment, install Java in your local environment, set up Spring Boot or etc. to build your web app. And you have to deploy it in a local server, and you have to also handle the errors and loads. Instead of that, you can use the Azure App Services, which is a platform as a service. Here, this is the portal where we create an app. Here you can see the option which is runtime tech stack, and you can here select .NET, Java, Node.js, PHP, and any other environment which will make our setup easy in a 2-minute process. This is how we can utilize the platform as a service. Now coming to the software as a service. This is a service where we use the software and we will not configure the platform or infrastructure, etc., and we can directly use the software. For example, you have to build a machine learning model and you have to create the local machine with a GPU such that you have the enough computer resources, and you have to write algorithms, train your model, test your model, and deploy the model. So instead of that, you can use the Azure Machine Learning Studio, which will create as a studio, and we can do everything like create a machine learning pipeline, deploy our model, use your model as an API, etc., and it will be deployed and trained in a few minutes. This is how we can use the software as a service. And coming to this IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, they all have their management operations. For example, if you are deploying your own server, you have to manage everything from networking to the applications such as storage, servers, OS, middleware, runtime, data, etc. But when you're using infrastructure as a service, as you have seen, OS and virtualization, servers, and storage are managed by the cloud provider, which is Azure, and we have to only manage runtime, data, and application. And if you don't have to manage your runtime or data, you can use the PaaS, which is platform as a service. The runtime environment will be also created and installed in the service and will be provided to us such that we can develop the application. And coming to the SaaS, everything will be managed by the cloud vendor and you have to just use the application. In this way, these three pro services will help us to develop or deploy our applications easily and seamlessly. Thank you.